Commencing countdown. T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Rap Music Incorporated.
Welcome to RMI, Rap Music Incorporated. Like always, I'm Husky, bringing you the funk, the noise, and all that. And nothing's changed today. Today, I got two-time Grammy winner, Rahzel, the Godfather of Noise, in the building. Rahzel, welcome to the show.
Welcome, my brother. Thank you.
Yo, it's such an honor to have you up in here, dude. And the thing is, remember, we connected probably like 10 years ago. You opened up for 50 and you did some drops for me. And
Okay, I got you now.
Now you got you.
I
never forgot.
Me
and my man never forgot that. And I always said, yo, I'm gonna work with that dude again for real.
I think I had the Green Celtics Michelin joint on.
That's exactly what you had on.
Yeah.
Okay, you remember what you were on stage?
Yeah. You said 50 because I was like, yo, when I got the call, like, yo, you gonna open for 50? I was like, yo, I got to wear something fly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at the time, I was like, yo, everybody was on the Michelin S.
Right.
So I had to pull the joint out, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's wonderful, man. And I also found out you were related to one of the members of the Grammys Fast and Furious 5.
Yes, sir. Raheem, man. That's my cousin, man.
So you watched that whole thing happen?
I mean, I was a little kid. I grew up in Queens, so on the weekends I should travel to the Bronx. My cousin, used to rehearse in my aunt's apartment, so I used to see little things go on. Went to the studio with the cats. It's kind of like just played the background, fly on the wall type of thing, but at the same time it's absorbing everything. And even further back, man, even watching them perform at Bronx River Community Center with Bam and
That's hip hop history. If y'all who don't know that, what he's talking about right now is hip hop history. Keep your ears open.
Story Avenue, I remember those days. That's when I was hanging out with dudes from Harlem.
Wow.
And, they were schooling me to that, like, yo, we about to go up to the BX, so you know what I'm saying? Put your chain in, cause this is what's about to go down. I mean, it don't mean you soft, but it's all this. It's all a part of the plan. So
it is what it is.
You don't want to get scooped up in that. So they was peeping me the game, but yeah, man, that was a great time for me, man. Just being able to just feel that type of vibe, and then at the same time, growing up in Queens, I was around like LL, Salt and Pepper, Run. D, Ed Lover, but it's like kids, you're just having fun with it. You're not thinking like, wow, this is gonna be
because nobody knew how big hip hop was going to be.
You had no idea, right?
Tokyo ski. I'm the check yourself, prove that it's Tokyo ski. I'm the
What about so now that you've been and you've seen this history develop from this early phase and it's turned into this big, humongous thing.
Yeah.
What do you like about hip hop now, and what don't you like about hip hop now?
I mean, hip hop. I mean, it's controlled by a entity that really doesn't cater to the culture. Like if you look at the culture of rock and roll, like you look at groups like the Who. Like you say the Who, like who's the Who? Well, do your research. The Who has been a rock group that's been around for like 40, 45 years. And they can still go out on the road today and sell out an arena. But the beauty about it, when you look in the audience, you'll see 3 to 4 generations enjoying the music together. It's not separated like how hip hop is, young and old.
Right.
Rock and roll is not celebrated that way. It's
Right.
celebrated like it's a family thing. Like I'm gonna take you and show you the music I grew up on. So it's like it's kind of like the Drink Champs. We're gonna celebrate you while you're here.
Absolutely.
We're not gonna wait till you're gone and then
Absolutely.
we're gonna cry over you and talk about how great you are. Let's talk about how great you are and your contributions now. So to me, that's the gap that's going on in our culture and our music. It's like we really need to kind of like uplift our artists that really paved the way. You got the Grandmaster Flashes, Cool Hercs, Red Alerts, Molly Malls, like all these guys. I mean, we can go down from group to group, and I mean, we got to support that.
Do you think it's the system is designed because hip hop's become so powerful? Like, do you think the system is designed to kind of keep it down, or do you think it's something that's just happened naturally internally?
No, I mean, I think it's systematic. I believe it's systematic because music moves people.
Absolutely. Nothing moves people like
Music is messages.
Yes.
Back in the day, we've had records where people didn't really know. We only knew what we was talking about. People outside of the culture had no idea. They just like, oh, okay, that sounds cool, but we was really sending messages. You look at Public Enemy, like if you go back and listen to Chuck D and the jewels he was dropping back then, he was sending the messages like we having this big thing now where everybody's talking about, we got to walk on eggshells about racism. Chuck was dropping that back in the 90s. He was dropping them jewels like, he was telling you what it is.
Right. But during that time too, hip hop was under attack. Like they didn't know what to do with it. They would try to attack it head on, then they try to go back the back door to get it down. And finally this backed off and came in to get money off it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. It got watered down a little bit. And I mean, I'm not even gonna say a little bit, it got watered down a lot because, most of the music was kind of empowering people to pick up books. If you really look at it, think about it. When Rakim first dropped this album, I mean, I'm gonna say it for myself. When Rakim came out, he changed the game for me because, not saying that hip hop was simplistic because, I was rolling with dudes like Mikey D that was the illest MC at the time. He still got the gift, he still got the skills today. You know what I mean? You got dudes like that. I mean, even me being around a Black Thought, like people kind of slept on him. Now everybody's going Google Gaga because he just had to step out and let you know what it is. But I've been doing that since '92. You know what I mean? So people got to really kind of hone in and look at it. But to me, it's been systematic, kind of put in place where you don't want people to send that message where it's kind of like uplifting people.
Tokyo ski. I'm the Told yourself to prove that it's Tokyo ski. I'm the want to bring it to you. Jack tells himself to prove that he's a
We're back here with the Godfather of Noise, Rahzel. So,
sir.
Rahzel, you being in that cipher like that,
Mhm.
I mean, how did things turn into the connection to the roots?
Okay, the connection with the roots is, like I said, I grew up in Queens. At the time, I was heavy into the music. I was rolling with Irv Gotti. We had a little crew. That's when he was DJ Irv. You know what I'm saying? So we signed to Jam Master Jay record label, JMJ Records. At the time, Irv was DJing for Jazzo. So that's the connection between Irv and Jay-Z. So during that time, I moved back to the Bronx. And then Irv started working more and more with Jazzo and Jay-Z. And, this kind of distance and creativity and different paths. I stayed in the Bronx, and then I started working with some of the dudes in the Bronx, like actually, this MC out of Yonkers called Shaki. I started working with her. So she was working on an album. My man, God bless my man Matt Dew. My man Matt Dew from Queens, he introduced me to her. It's like, yo, I think you should roll with her. She's working on an album. She's looking for somebody to beatbox. So, we did that. We went on tour, went out to the Gavin back there back in '93. But during that time, she used to hold a lot of open mics.
Right.
So these open mics was at the Supper Club, at Bond Street, at the Fez, at CBGB's, like, all these little spots downtown in the village. And, I used to be heavy down there. That's where I linked up with Supernatural.
Right.
He
Right.
changed the game.
Right.
Like all these UF battles and, off the top. Yeah, he's the master of that. And I seen that back in 94, 93, 94. Like, dude is just gifted. So just being in that fold, I met Questlove. Back then he was Brother Question. So Shaki had set up like a show or whatever, and she wanted me to battle Quest. She said, listen, we're gonna change it up a little bit tonight. So I'm gonna bring a drummer. You're gonna put your skills to the test. So now, me and Quest going back to back, but that kind of just won the audience over. And I think the light bulb kind of went off in his head. He's like, yo, we working on the album. I think we need to bring that same energy to the album. And the manager at the time, Richard Nichols, God bless, he passed away a couple of years ago. His brainchild was like, yeah, we need to recreate that. And that same response we had with the audience, we need to take that and do more shows like that. So at that time, they was like, listen, they kind of like, courted me like, yo, you need to get down with us. We about to go to Europe. We about to do these tours. And, it was a hard decision because now, I just had my first kid.
Congratulations on that.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the time, my son, he's older now.
Okay.
He's doing his thing in the music industry.
Oh, good, man. Good.
And at that time, I said, listen, this is the opportunity to kind of like, it's really hard to explain because you can't really see what's going to happen, what's going to be the outcome, but the feeling. Like, it wasn't like one of those negative feelings. I felt good about it.
Gotcha. That's what I have now. When everything's working on.
I felt good about it because it wasn't. Most people they respond off of instant gratification. Like if I need something tangible in order for me to make a decision. For me, it was. I felt like I was down with the dream team. You know what I'm saying? Just the people I was around, like the Black Thoughts, the Supernaturals, the Questloves, the Mum, the Schema, I can keep the list is so long, like so many talented people that I came across, especially, my little stint out in Philadelphia, because at the time recording the album, I stayed out in Philly. So people that I met in Philly, Beans, Eve, you know, Kindred Family, Music Soul Child.
Yeah, so your foundation is strong.
So, I mean, you know, Erica Badu. I'm like, I mean, Jill Scott. I mean, we talking early. This is before all the rockets launched.
Gotcha.
You know,
Gotcha.
so
Wow.
you in a room with 30 like geniuses.
Right. Wow.
So in my mind, I'm like, how could this go wrong?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like people say the stars and the moon align. I was like, it's just too much talent in one room, too much talent that you come across for it not to go anywhere.
Absolutely. Wow. All right. I'm going to take a pause for the cause. We're going to go to videos and we're going to come right back. And I want to talk a little bit about your music and what you do with your voice and the kind of communication that the message you send out by that noise that comes out of your mouth. Right back here on R&Mind.
Tokyo ski. I'm the Jack tells himself to prove that he's a Tokyo ski. I'm the Jack tells himself to prove that he's a
Welcome back. I'm kicking it with Rahzel.
Yeah.
And so, Rahzel, one of the things that I really appreciate that you communicate is the way you use your talent as an instrument of communication. Right. And one of the things I heard you say, you talked about, life starts with a beat.
Right.
With your
Absolutely.
heartbeat. Right. And then that's a pretty heavy philosophy. I want you to delve in that a little bit for me and explain to the audience your philosophy in terms of what you have inside of you and what you use it for.
I mean, basically, what I'm saying is everything has a rhythm, everything has a pace, everything has a timing, and it starts with your heartbeat. Like when you're born, when you're in your mother's womb, that's your first beat that you encounter. That's the first beat that your parents encounter. So, you can't get no more human than that. And it's a language that needs no words. Because once you hear the heartbeat, there's life. You don't need to know no more than it's life. So to me, I think the beatbox, without speaking, it gives life. It gives energy to people. It opens people's mind. It opens their minds to the possibilities of, the impossible. Because I've been around the world. I mean, not knowingly, because God always have His hand in everything, and when it's your time, He'll make it your time, not before or after.
Absolutely.
So, things that I was doing, not even knowing, just like He just put me on that path, not knowing that it was going to be such an explosion. Where we came from in the hood, the beatbox was from hood to hood.
Right.
Where you went one place, or if you had a tape, or if you had a record out, that was the way you communicated with people. Where now, back then, me traveling to different countries around the world was opening that door.
And give us a little sample. I gave you the microphone.
Right.
It's in your hand. Could you give us a little sample of what you do with that microphone?
Okay, check. Okay, we're gonna do it like this. All right, when I'm beatboxing, a lot of I'm using a lot of different variations. I try to explain to like the younger kids that's coming up. It's good to be relevant of what's the music is today, but it's good to be in the pocket like a drummer, like a drum machine, because it's a science to stay in pocket and not leave that. Like if you at 98 beats per minute and you can stay at 90 beats per minute, that's a lot of focus. So, but back to how I break things down, I'm using the beat for one avenue, I'm using bass line for another avenue, I'm using a sound effect for another avenue, I'm using scratches for another avenue. So it's kind of like watching a DJ. Once again, I study DJs too. Like I'm a student, so if you're a break dancer, well, I used to be good at dancing. I don't dance no more, as you can see. I don't dance no more. I go out and wine and dine now.
I still can do a little something. Don't worry about that. I still can do a little something. Right.
Nah, but like I'm gonna give you an example of like how I break things down. You get the see, now that's simplistic, right? But now let's get a little more complicated. That's a little taste. I mean, it can go in so many different directions and
that talent
forms.
is so crazy. Because it captures the imagination. I see one of the cameramen has their cell phone. They're shooting the show and they're shooting you with the camera. That's how crazy you sound, man. Yo.
Tokyo ski. I'm the to yourself to prove that it's Tokyo ski. I'm the
How's your son? Is he in the business?
My son is incredible, man. I don't like to gas him up like that, but I give him credit. I give him credit where he can always fall in the cut of what everyone else is doing. But I hear so much of like PE and LL but it's like what the kids are doing now.
Wow.
But he's dropping jewels.
Oh, good. That's what we need
He's talking
these days.
about false idols, and he's giving it to you like where you like, oh, yeah, I ain't no young just thinking like that.
Right.
But he's thinking on that level of a Chuck D. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking on that level of consciousness like a Common or a Black Thought, like where they really sit down and you can tell what books they're reading.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, it's difficult in this rap game when you got other things that are generating millions and millions of dollars, and people want to really hear what's generating money, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. It's the bottom line.
Right.
Can I pack this club?
Right.
How many bottles can I sell?
Right.
Your consciousness is not really, selling out my club.
Right.
But I always tell him, to me, you got to stick to your guns because it's all coming back, bro. Because
Absolutely.
after a while, man, like I said, you can't live off a Dorito diet.
Rahzel,
man.
thank you, man,
Oh,
for coming to the show.
Thank you
dude.
for having
Yo,
me,
but
man.
bless-
Thanks for reconnecting.
Yeah, yeah. No, but
For real.
we're not gonna lose the connection this
Okay,
time, man, because
for
I
sure,
definitely
for
want to
sure.
continue working with you because
Yeah.
first of all, your spirit is powerful,
Man,
dude.
listen, man.
You see what I'm saying?
To me, you gotta listen. You always gotta put that good energy out there. If that's what you want in your life, like the saying, you live by the sword. That's what it is.
Fantastic.
You know?
Listen, for all the viewers, please stay tuned. Next week, you're gonna have another exciting interview.
Yeah.
Same rap time, and we out.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, yeah, adrenaline. Check to yourself to prove that he's a Tokyo ski. I'm the Check to yourself to prove that he's a Tokyo ski. I'm the